Player on the basketball team. And like most Hollywood stars, Johnny Mathis has a beautiful swimming pool at his Los Angeles home, only this one is in the middle of his living room.
You were a world-class athlete as a high jumper, and at the time that you were signed to Columbia Records, you also had an opportunity to go to the Olympic trials, didn't you? That is amazing. I mean, you had to choose between going to the Olympics or starting a record career. How did you make that decision?
Well, I'll tell you, John, it wasn't that difficult. First of all, most athletes, especially world-class athletes, because you're required to do it so often, what you do, you're always playing with pain, or you're always participating in your sport, and something always hurts. Mm-hmm. You're never really fit. And as with me, I had a bad back. As a high jumper, that's the worst thing in the world to have. So I was looking for any excuse to not have that pain while I was high jumping. So along came Columbia Records, and during the same week that I was to go to the Olympic trials, and said, we'd like for you to come to New York and make your first record. So the back pain went out of the window, New York beckoned, and the rest is a lot of very good luck and a lot of happy times.
Do you remember the first time you heard Chances Are on the radio? Do you remember where you were?
I'll tell you, John, it was the thrill of a lifetime. And no matter how many times you played it on your little phonograph, by the time it goes through all those wires and goes all out into the air, something happens and it transforms you, who performed it, into something else completely different. It sounded like Johnny Mathis. It didn't sound like me.
Uh-huh. Very well put. How did your life change? Did it change appreciably after your first hit record?
The money started to come in, which was very helpful to all my brothers and sisters and my parents. We lived in a very small house, 9 of us, 7 kids and my mother and father, 4 rooms. So that was pandemonium. We weren't poor, we just didn't have any money.
It must be a good feeling to be able to use your music and your voice to help your family.
Yeah. I think the first thing I did when I had any money was buy my mom something. I started singing in public from the time I was about 8 years old. And in order to go on stage, she'd always make an effort to get me something nice to wear on stage. And I always remembered that because my other brothers and sisters didn't get that because they didn't go on stage. Mm-hmm. And so first thing I did was buy Mom some horrible, piece of cheap jewelry or something that I thought she would love. And then later on, of course, they were able to not work so hard, take time to travel with me. So before they passed away, both of them got an opportunity to really enjoy my success. I think I'm more proud of that than anything else, is the fact that they had a chance to travel with me and see people coming up and asking for autographs, and they would, they'd seek them out, his parents,
And get their autograph?
And then get their autographs.
Oh,
and my father was the biggest ham in the world. My mother was very retiring and very shy, but Pop loved every minute of it.
Do you get your shyness from your mom?
Yeah. It hampered my performance for years because I just couldn't open my eyes and look at the public. I'd keep my eyes closed, my fists clenched, and I'd sing. And I felt, well, if you're going to listen, you're going to listen, but I'm not going to act a fool, and I'm going to jump around and what have you. I'm just going to sing. People always were trying to help me get over my shyness. And it never worked, but I guess we have enough extroverted people in the world.
Might as well have a few shy people.
Yeah.
It's funny because I interviewed Henry Mancini, and he was saying that when he goes to a party, if people ask him to play piano, he's like, no, I don't do that. I'm assuming you're the same way. If somebody says, why don't you sing at the party?
Oh, Lord. Oh, God, no.
It's like dreading Christmas, right?
Right. Oh, well, Christmas time, I go around with earmuffs on, you know, because that's all you hear is Johnny Mathis in the malls and everything, and everybody sings along. But yeah, Christmas is kind of frightening.
What is the worst thing that's ever happened to you on stage? Have you ever had a disaster on
Yeah,
stage?
I fell off. This dentist gave me some pills to take because I had to sing that night, and I had never taken anything like that. And I took one of these pills, and my mouth was throbbing. I was just in agony. So I took another one. And by the time I got on stage, I was just spinning. So I took a bow after my first song and fell right off the stage onto the grass, luckily onto the grass. And instead of getting up and walking around the steps, I get up, climb back up on stage, and proceeded to sing about as well as I've sung. It shocked me so much. And so I knew that I'd have to do something. And so I just said, I'm going to sing. I'm going to, go ahead with it. But that was literally the worst thing I think could happen to anybody.
I want to thank you for foregoing your golf game today to be with us. That's a sport that's become very important for you.
Yeah, it's a very big part of my life. It's the only thing that I have where I get to meet people on a one-to-one basis. In other words, it doesn't matter who you are, it's how well you hit the ball. And it's a joy.
Anything you'd like to take back that's happened in your career, in your life?
I would like to not have fallen off that stage. Yeah.